Ever wanted to get amazing at photography without dropping a single cent on fancy gear? Or maybe you've dreamed of exploring these incredible, impossible worlds with the photographer's eye. Well, today we're jumping right into that sweet spot where virtual reality and photography collide. It's a space where digital worlds are becoming both the ultimate training ground and this infinite new canvas. And this quote, it absolutely nails it. See, VR isn't just another screen you look at. It's a place you can actually be in. It's a space where we can learn and create and tell stories in ways we just couldn't before. It's a huge shift, and it's totally reshaping not just movies, but the entire art of capturing an image. So here's the plan for our journey today. First up, we'll look at how VR is creating this wild, two-sided reality for photographers. Then, we'll step into a virtual classroom and see how it's teaching honest-to-goodness, real-world skills. After that, we get to be the artists, capturing scenes that are literally impossible. We'll even check out the surprising comeback of the old-school analog darkroom. And finally, we're going to flip the whole thing around and see how we can bring our own physical world into VR. So yeah, we're basically talking about two worlds here, and they're totally connected. The first is using VR as this incredibly powerful tool to learn and really master the craft of photography. The second is all about using photography as a way to create and explore inside these virtual realities. Think about it like this. If you're just starting out, VR is this amazing, risk-free studio where mistakes cost you nothing. But for a pro, it's a whole new creative frontier where the only limit is your own imagination. These two paths are really changing what it even means to pick up a camera here in the 21st century. All right, so let's jump into that first world. VR as the ultimate digital classroom. This is where you can learn all the fundamentals, you can experiment like crazy, and you can sharpen your skills without any of the real-world costs or hassles getting in the way. Seriously, just imagine holding a pro-level camera, but you're tweaking all its settings with your own hands, just with these simple, intuitive gestures. Powerful headsets like the MetaQuest make this a reality. And just like that, the cost of gear, renting a studio, even travel, it all just disappears. And what's so cool is how specialized these apps are already getting. This isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. You've got Lushfoil VR, which is perfect for the artist who wants to bend a world to their will, controlling every little bit of light and weather. Then there's Immersive Exposure, which drops you right into a professional 8K photo shoot. And VR Photo Studio is more of a step-by-step teacher, building your knowledge from the ground up with these little quests. Now, here's the most important part. These are not just games. They are seriously high-fidelity simulators teaching you real, tangible, professional skills. You're actually learning the exposure triangle, that critical relationship between aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. You're mastering focus, white balance, and composition, all skills that you can take directly to a real physical camera. So, okay, once you've got these skills down, where do you actually use them? Well, that brings us to our second world. This is where we go from being a student to being an artist, and we start using the camera as a creative tool inside these amazing virtual environments. In-game photography has become a totally legit art form. I mean, in games like oVRview Generation VR, you're literally a photographer in a dystopian future, trying to get the perfect shot for your photo bounties. Or in horror games like Ghost Cam, the camera is the only way you can see the supernatural. The camera isn't just an accessory. It becomes a core part of the story. So what makes these worlds look so convincing? Well, it's all thanks to powerful game engines like Unreal Engine 5 and Unity. They're the foundation that lets developers build these stunningly detailed, photorealistic places that are just begging to be explored. It really starts to blur the line between a real photo and a created one. And your virtual camera bag, it comes fully loaded. In a game like oVRview Generation, you're not just pointing and clicking. No way. You have an entire collection of different lenses. That means you get to frame the world and tell your story with the same creative choices you'd have in real life, from these massive wide-angle shots to super intimate telephoto details. All right, get ready for a really fascinating twist. In the middle of all this high-tech digital wizardry, there's a huge revival of something very old school, very methodical. The analog darkroom is being reborn in VR. And this is all about slowing things down. Forget instant photos. These apps are all about what they call tactile presence. They use the advanced hand tracking in headsets like the Quest to perfectly simulate the physical, deliberate process of developing film by hand. It's not about getting it done fast. It's about the patient, chemical ritual of creating a photo from scratch. Let's just walk through this for a second. You actually physically shake the developing tank to spread the chemicals. You use virtual tongs to gently move the photo paper from the developer to the stop bath, then into the fixer. And you do all of this under the dim red glow of a simulated safe light, watching your image slowly, magically appear. It's an incredible process, and it's recreated perfectly. Okay, so we've spent all this time inside the virtual world. Now, let's just flip that whole idea completely on its head and talk about how real-world photography is being used to build the content for VR. Right, so this is all about capturing our physical world in a way that lets someone else step right inside it. Photographers use these specialized techniques to create 360-degree spherical images. When you view them in a VR headset, you get this powerful sense of presence, that feeling that you are actually there. So how do you actually do it? Well, you've got two main paths you can go down. The all-in-one camera is your starting point. It's fast, it's simple, and it's perfect for just jumping in. But if you want those really professional, high-quality results, you'll use a standard DSLR or mirrorless camera, take a whole bunch of photos, and stitch them all together. It's definitely more work, but the payoff is just so much better in terms of image quality and detail. And here's just a quick look at the kind of tools we're talking about. You've got your simple all-in-one 360 cameras for grabbing quick shots. For the really high-end stuff, you've got devices that also capture 3D data, which gives you a true sense of space and depth. And of course, if you go the DSLR route, you're going to need some powerful software to stitch all those individual pictures into one seamless, immersive world. And all of this brings us to one final kind of mind-bending thought. The line between what's real and what's created. It's basically dissolving. A photograph isn't just a moment frozen in time anymore. It can be a whole world you build from nothing, a memory you can literally step back into, or a skill you learn in a reality that's just made of light and code. So I guess the only question left is, what will you capture next?